Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to look at Kotter's 8-step theory. Now this is a theory that you must know. So every 8 steps, you need to know this theory inside out. So we're just going to go through all the 8 steps and then we'll use an example. So first of all, step 1. So this is a 8-step theory on, so it's a change management theory. So the steps, so Kotter has come in with his theory and said that these are the 8 steps that you should go through if you're going to manage a particular change. So this is how you should take your organisation through it. So these are the 8 steps. So step 1 is to establish a sense of urgency. So it's looking at market conditions, any threats or opportunities that are foreseeable, and that sets the need for change. So it could be an organisation that says, righto, we can see a downturn in the economy or a downturn in the market that we're in, so we're going to actually change and head in another direction. Then step 2, actually form a guiding team. So this team will work together to actually make the change happen. They're the ones that are given power to lead the change. So to try and reduce all the resistance from the employees, try overcome all the obstacles and actually get the change through. Now that team can come from someone in the organisation or it could come from someone external. There are organisations that specialise in change so that those people can actually that change can actually be outsourced. Step 3 then is to create a vision. So it's important to know exactly where the organisation is going to head, what the end result is going to look like, so that you have a clear set goal on what is trying to be achieved and you've got something to work towards. Once that vision's been created, it's important to then communicate that vision. Now, communication is really important in change because employees, managers and shareholders, etc., they often fear change and they'll often resist it. So it's important that the vision is communicated really clearly, and also along with being communicated, not just saying what it is, but who it's going to affect, why it's actually being done. So what are the benefits of undertaking this change? And showing possible examples of how that change is going to work positively. That can help reduce the resistance to change. Then empowering staff, step 5 is to empower staff to act upon the vision, giving them the confidence and encouraging behaviour that supports the change, trying to remove any obstacles and enabling employees to possibly even have a say in some of the aspects of the change is really important. So giving them remember, empowerment means involved in decision making. And then step 6, planning and celebrating for progress. So it's important to reward and recognise employees who are embracing the change and celebrating, if it's the opening up a new factory and celebrate that, or a new process, just even simple recognition of great, that's what we're expecting, so that employees then feel positive about it and that they're more likely to embrace it. Step 7 then is to consolidate the actual change or the improvements. So supporting improvements with resources, ensuring that all the old practices aren't blocking any further progress. So this sort of goes along with rewarding and recognising and just trying to break down any barriers and actually consolidating what the change actually is. And then we try and institutionalise the new behaviour. So reinforcing, actually getting staff to understand the link between the changes and future success, and so that that could require continue ongoing training and having the manager out and about actually trying to encouraging staff and demonstrating why it's important that these changes occur. So that's the 8-step process. Now just to give you an example, we've got SPC and Ardmona. SPC, what used to be a company on its own, and Ardmona used to be a company on its own. Now these two actually competed against each other, so they're in the canned sort of fruit market, and what they decided to do was they decided to merge. So and these steps aren't exactly the facts that they went through or anything like that, but this just shows you an example of how it can happen. So obviously setting an urgency is step 1. So what happened, there was some poor financial performances from both SPC and Ardmona, and they saw an opportunity for economies for economies of scale, and that they saw the opportunity. So they had some threat there in terms of poor financial performance, but then saw also an opportunity to say, well, look, if we could do this, this will help us achieve economies of scale and help build our company together. So then step 2 would have been to form a guiding team where they could put together a team that would actually implement the major change, and a merger is a major change. Step 3, create a vision. So what are the actual, are we keeping they would have decided, are we keeping all the different products that we have? Are we going to reduce some of the products? What factories are going to continue to operate? Because there's no point merging and having all the same amount of employees and just having doubling up on resources. So can we consolidate that and simplify that into only a few factories? And in actual fact, they did close down some factories, but having a clear idea of what that end vision is really important. And then they needed to communicate that. So once they decided that this is what's going to happen, these are the products that we're going to keep, these are the factories that we're going to remain open, which ones are we going to close, it's important to communicate that to staff, because job losses are obviously going to occur in that situation. So it's important to communicate honestly and clearly so that the employees know exactly where they stand. And so that helped actually drive the change through. And it actually happened really quickly. So rather than, SPC and Ardmona, they didn't sort of sit on their hands for a long time and go, well, we're going to close over a long period of time. It happened quickly so that employees knew exactly where they stood. They could look for other work, that the company could help them look for other work or redeploy them. And yeah, it stopped the lingering around in the culture for a long period of time, where people are going, oh, I'm going to lose my job in the next, sort of 6 to 12 months. It happened quite quickly. Then they empowered staff to give them, not necessarily to, in terms of the merger, but in terms of new processes and things like that. They implemented new logos. They let them have a say. So they empowered staff to make some decisions, not all decisions clearly, but some decisions they were empowered. And then they celebrated progress, so constant rewarding, recognising employees for embracing the new behaviours. The manager was constantly out of his office to encourage staff to really demonstrate and answer any questions, but to recognise and reward really strong behaviour, the positive behaviour that they were looking for, those that were undertaking the new processes really well. And then to consolidate, continue to give support to employees that were struggling with the changes, because there was some resistance in terms of even simple things like new forms that they had to fill out for some processes. That caused some angst between them. So just giving support to those employees, training all employees on the new procedures and the new policies, because obviously there's uniform changes and all those type of things. So just small things like that, just making sure that everything's consolidated, that the manager's out there and answering any questions. And resolving any problems that are arising. And then institutionalise the new behaviour, so continue to reinforce the importance of the changes, showing that this merger was going to be beneficial to the employees because the business is going to make more money, etc. So that it's going to help them with their job security, etc. So again, answering any questions. So that's the sort of 8-step process that SPC and Ardmona could have gone through in order to manage that major change that they've gone through. So just to recap Kotter's 8-step theory, the 8 steps: create a sense of urgency, then form a guiding team, create a vision of the end product, then communicate that vision to all stakeholders, empower staff to make decisions, celebrate progress in terms of rewards and recognition, then consolidate, and then institutionalise the change. And for even more resources to help you improve your understanding of today's topic, come on over to teachingbubble.com.